Hey everyone, welcome to this week's podcast. I am Chad Owen, the Annuity Sales Coach, and right next to me is Caleb North.
Hey, I get my actual name now.
Boy Wonder!
Oh, okay. There it is.
So what are we talking about today, Caleb?
We're going to talk about something that you do that a lot of agents don't want to spend their time doing, but they should, and that is...
Buying leads?
Yeah, well, that's fair.
Running appointments?
They all want to do that.
Studying product?
That one is another one they
Getting
don't necessarily
continuing
like.
education?
Yeah, that's not fun either.
So what are we talking about?
We're talking about tracking numbers, production, lead flow, lead costs, like all across the board.
Mm-hmm.
The fuel, in essence, for your business. We're talking about tracking those numbers, kind of how to do it, which I can break that down, but the why behind it. So give us the why, Chad.
Do you
why
think
track your
tracking
numbers?
motivates me?
Do I think it motivates you?
Yeah.
I think seeing the numbers and the results can. I don't think that the process of actually like filling out your sheets each week motivates you.
No number motivates me.
Okay.
Tracking does not motivate me.
So if you were to look at, say, June of 2021 and see that you were $3 million behind where you were June of 2020.
Yeah, see, that demotivates me.
Would that motivate you to...
Not at all.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not a true number.
It's
just a
it is,
hypothetical.
yeah. I mean, I had a really big month in May of 2020.
Mm-hmm. 9 million.
9 million. But the way I look at this is tracking makes me aware of what's working and what's not.
Okay.
So I'm looking at my appointment setting ratio. I'm looking at my applications, dollars per appointment, the application closing. It's letting me know where I need to train myself or revisit something. So if I'm getting a lot of appointments and I have my leads and then I get a lot of appointments, but I'm not getting them to actually show up, then that tells me I'm not building a value on why they need to meet with me. Because the only way I'm going to ever agree that they're going to meet with me is if there's a problem, if they need my help. Because I will say, I mean, you know this, I call a lot of people and they don't have enough money or their situation just won't work, so I don't meet with them.
Right.
So you go, well, that messes with your appointment percentage. Absolutely it does.
Right.
I mean, it makes it look like I'm not making the most of each of my leads, but I am, because I'm only meeting with people that I can actually provide a solution to the problem. So trackers, they don't motivate me at all.
Okay. Well, that's good,
It's
but they
purely
are
for the
phenomenal
form of-
indicators.
That's it. So it tells me which lead source is effective.
Yeah.
It tells me
If a lead source is even profitable.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I've spent millions.
Lord have mercy on that one.
Yeah, I've spent millions on lead companies that were not effective.
No.
I mean, if I tell you lead company's going to work, it's because I personally have used it or I know someone who's very successful. For example, seminars. I don't do seminars, but I know a lot of really good agents that are really effective at using seminars.
Oh, yeah.
We actually have agents that work with us that use seminars.
We do.
So I know how to do that, but I just don't do seminars because I already have enough leads. I know, cry for me, feel bad, but I do. I already have my 20% surplus in leads, except in the summer.
That's true. Summertime, it gets slow.
It always gets slow, but the people that are willing to meet with you are very serious.
That's true.
So I have some really big deals in the summer. But when we're talking about trackers, it's always important to know what your money is doing for you. In other words, this lead source is good.
Right.
Where you need to improve. So I guess in an indirect way, you could say they do motivate me because it tells me where I need to improve in a particular area. I go through the same things everybody else does. I mean, I had an agent running appointments with me a few weeks ago, and he said, wow, you don't have everybody that just signs up and says, hey, I want to do what you're telling me to do. No, I go through the full thing every single time. We had two very challenging appointments.
Yeah, I remember hearing about
one all right appointment and one incredible appointment. But I mean, to put it in perspective, we had an appointment that lasted 5 minutes. He wouldn't give any information. He had plenty of money. He was probably a multimillionaire, but he wouldn't give me any information. So I'm like, fine. And I talked to this gentleman afterwards, and my agent, and I said, what did you notice about that? What would have you done differently? And he goes, well, I would have probably tried to get the sale. And I said, I'm not. I'm trying to find a solution to the problem. So if I don't know what the problem is, how can I ever find a solution? And you could see the saying clicked in his eyes. Like, this guy, he's going to be a rock star. He's already doing great, but he's going to be incredible. And I don't say that. I mean, if anybody, I'm sorry if one of you are on the, told me, I'm going to do 5 million a year. I said, no, you're not. What are you saying? I'm not going to do? No, you just don't have the drive. You're not going to study. You won't spend the money on leads. You're not going to do 5 million a year. I mean, I'll say it, but when I say somebody's good, I'm telling you, there's a reason why. I've seen thousands of agents, and I know who's going to make it and who's not. They still have to do what I tell them to do. They still have to apply the principles.
Right.
But, even tracking, I mean, there are so many agents. I used to work with mortgage protection insurance, and every single week, the people that were given the leads had to beg for their numbers. So finally they said, hey, if you don't give me your numbers for the tracker, you're not getting leads this week. It's amazing how quick they started doing trackers.
Phenomenal.
But then you start to think about, are the numbers you given actually real? Because my numbers are 100% real.
Yeah.
They are what they are, down to the 10th of a percent.
Yeah, down to the 100th of a percent.
100th of a percent. Well, there you go.
Down to the 100th of a percent, down to the penny of the dollar.
Yeah. Do I go down to pennies?
We go down to pennies.
Where's that?
We'd go down to double decimals on everything.
Wow.
You're written, you're sold, or which is the same. You're sold per
Yeah, but the
premium.
dollars stay at 0, 0. You don't go down to pennies.
That's what a penny is. 0.01 is a penny.
I know that, but it's right there. It says 349,875.
0.0. That's just how the math worked out. That's Chad's average case size. For those of you who are wondering, what is that?
Yeah.
The $300 and almost $50,000 is Chad's average case size. 349,875. Look at your issued amount year to date, which I need to go in and I need to add the issued amounts. Okay,
so,
but you're at.
We had 13,700,000. Wow, so it did it.
It just happens to add up.
Zeros.
Yeah.
That is a trip.
Yeah.
Well, okay, there you go. I stand somewhat corrected.
Yep.
Okay, so the trackers, I'm just very particular on those. I want them done right, and Caleb and I are constantly
every week
tweaking those a little bit if we need to. If we say, hey, you know what, why don't we start tracking this?
Yeah.
And we'll do it. We do track every lead system, and even the brand new ones we're trying out, which I'm hoping to start another one here soon.
Yeah.
But especially if these leads don't pick up, man.
Yeah, the summers are slow.
Yeah, they are slow. But you know what? Then you get into September and October, you go, wow, they're just falling out of the sky now.
Come on.
It happened. And every year I'm surprised too. I mean, 17 years of doing this. I'm still surprised when September and October come around and you're going, wow, I'm getting all these leads coming in. It's because summer's over. So
grandkids went back home.
That's true, especially now, right?
Yeah.
I can't even imagine what that's like now.
Really, what you need to know about the trackers is it's data input to give you data output. I mean, you figure out what do you want to measure, and then what do you need to actually keep track of to measure those things. For example, appointment rate. You need to know how many leads you get in, and then how many appointments you set. It's pretty simple.
Which is interesting because to me, there's a lot of people that will write annuities for 10 grand.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of, if you don't have 50,000 emergency funds and savings, 50,000 investable amounts, I just say, hey, I'm not going to be able to help you there.
Yeah.
So that messes with my annuity appointment percentage. The number of leads versus number of appointments.
Sure.
I mean, I only set on every 35.28%.
Right now, you always fluctuate.
Yeah.
Between about 35 and 42%.
Yeah.
Any given point of the year, it's between kind of that range.
It was because it was at 42, now it dropped down to 35. You know why?
Why is that?
Summertime.
That's fair.
A lot of people actually schedule appointments and then they no-show.
Yeah.
Because, we're going out of town, or, hey, we decided to stay longer. So that's interesting.
Yeah. But when you factor in people you can't even get in touch with, that looks like 3.5 out of 10 leads you're actually booking appointments with.
Yeah,
but,
no, I don't get in touch with every single person. I would say probably 40% I don't even get in touch with.
So then you're already down to 60% of your leads. So if you have a 40% appointment rate on 60% of your leads, that's actually 4 out of 6. That's 2/3.
I'll take that. That's okay.
That's 66 some odd percent
now
of the people you talk to.
I feel better now because of a tracker.
Yeah, there you go. But that's the point. Okay, and so Chad, you're tracking obviously appointment rate, sit rate. application percentage as well. And you track all of these metrics across every lead source.
Yep.
Okay, we get down to the written premium amount, the average premium amount per application for each lead source. You've got your issued amount, and then we track it month to month and year to year.
Yep.
So there is
Yeah,
so much
because contrary
data.
to your popular belief, not every case gets issued. Like I've had some cases, and I mean, it doesn't matter because it fluctuates all the time. But
Right.
I had a $2 million case I wrote $1.25 million, where when I left the house, about 3 or 4 days later, the guy called me and they decided to get a divorce. So I mean, those are things you just can't control.
So true.
There's no way around that.
Yeah. So how can you track your metrics, your numbers? You see what we're doing, you see why it's important, but how can you actually do it? Well, there's an element of think through it, and like I said earlier, figure out what are you actually trying to measure and see, and then figure out what you need to input to calculate those things, or give me a call, 512-798-3500, extension 5.
I didn't even know our office number.
512-798-3500, extension 5. I almost had a mind blank there. But
no,
for real,
there's pretty much a consistent mind blank there, I assure you.
yeah, there's some empty space.
There is.
Bouncing around.
I have it too.
Yeah.
I get lost in the cloud many times.
Yeah. But I would love to chat with you about that and actually look at what
Isn't that
your
part
business.
of the business development?
It is. We
session?
we can make those what they need to be. Usually in those business strategy sessions, what I do is I get a picture for what their business looks like, and I look at what I know of yours and areas where there is very clearly room for improvement, and then give them strategy to actually shore those things up and improve those. Now, I will say, part of those questions, part of actually figuring out where the holes is asking questions. Let's say hypothetically you get 10 leads in. How many would you expect to get appointments with? Oh, I'd probably book 2 appointments. Okay, well, then we need to probably work on the phone process.
The phone, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
I was just in
it's-
my head, I'm already thinking that, dang, you need to work on the phone process right there.
Yeah, if somebody comes and they say, well, out of 10, let's say I actually get in contact with 6, I think I'd book 5. Wow, that's pretty good. You're probably really good on the phones. Now, of those 5, how many do you think you would actually end up eventually closing? And how many appointments would it take to get there? It'd probably take me 4 appointments, but I think I could close 2. It's like, well, okay, now we got to work on appointment process here, because that's way more appointments than is necessary. And 2 out of 5 is quite frankly pretty low. So there's things. All the point is the data actually shows you where the holes are, and we can look at those together. So like I say, give me a call.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's help them.
Let's do it. That's what we're here for.
So is that kind of what we're talking about today, is just the trackers?
That's what we're talking
about. So we
about.
have no more time to stall. So that means we need to say, hey, we don't just waste time to waste time. We're done for the day. We're pretty close to the time. But I hope
we shoot
this
for
helps
15
you.
minutes
We
usually,
do.
but
That's kind of,
sometimes
last
we hit
few
it,
times we
sometimes
went
we-
over.
Yeah.
So see, now we're wasting more time. Have a great day and happy selling.